Welcome back. Today we're breaking down the 5 most capable fighter jets flying anywhere in the world right now, in 2026. This isn't a list built on marketing brochures or top-speed bragging rights, and it isn't based on guesswork either. We're ranking these aircraft the way modern air forces and independent defense analysts actually evaluate them: stealth, sensor fusion, electronic warfare. Weapons integration, production numbers, and real combat record. Stay to the end. Because number 1 is not the jet most people expect, and the reason will completely change how you think about air combat in 2026. Let's get into it. Number 5, Dassault Rafale, France. Starting at number 5, we have the Dassault Rafale, built by France. The Rafale is what's called a 4.5 generation fighter, which means it isn't stealth in the way the jets above it are, but it makes up for that with raw versatility. It has a top speed of roughly Mach 1.8, and it can carry weapons on 14 separate hardpoints, giving it one of the best payload-to-weight ratios of any fighter flying today. What really sets the Rafale apart is its Spectra electronic warfare suite. This system doesn't just warn the pilot about incoming threats, it actively jams and deceives enemy radar and surface-to-air missile systems in real time. That's a capability many newer jets still struggle to match. The Rafale has also been combat tested in real operations over Libya, Mali, Syria, and more recently in contested airspace over South Asia, giving it a proven track record that some flashier aircraft simply don't have. Its main weakness is obvious: it is not a stealth aircraft. Against a modern integrated air defense network, the Rafale is far more visible on radar than the jets ranked above it. But as an all-around, battle-proven, non-stealth multi-role fighter, nothing else really comes close. There's also the question of reliability, which doesn't get talked about enough in these rankings. The Rafale has one of the higher mission availability rates among modern fighters, meaning it spends less time grounded for maintenance and more time actually flying operational sorties for air forces that can't afford a fleet of hangar queens. That single statistic matters just as much as any stealth coding. France has also continued upgrading the jet's avionics standards, adding better networking, improved sensors, and compatibility with next-generation long-range missiles, which is why the Rafale keeps holding its position on lists like this one instead of sliding down as newer jets arrive. Number 4, Sukhoi Su-57 Felon, Russia. Number 4 is Russia's Sukhoi Su-57, nicknamed the Felon. This is Russia's first true attempt at a 5th-generation stealth fighter, and it's an aggressive, high-performance airframe built around one core idea: extreme maneuverability. The Su-57 uses 3-dimensional thrust vectoring, which lets it perform maneuvers that would be physically impossible for most Western aircraft. In a close-range dogfight, very few jets in the world can outturn it. Its top speed sits around Mach 2, and it's designed to carry both short-range and long-range missiles internally, in weapons bays built to preserve its stealth profile. On paper, that puts it firmly in the same category as the F-22 and the F-35. But here's where the Su-57 falls short. Multiple independent aviation analysts have pointed out that its radar cross-section is noticeably larger than either American 5th-generation jet, meaning it is not nearly as stealthy as its design goals suggested. Some of that comes down to construction methods. The Su-57 still relies on certain design choices, like exposed engine features and less refined edge alignment, that Western 5th-generation jets moved away from years ago in pursuit of a cleaner radar profile. On top of that, production numbers remain low. Sanctions, cost overruns, and supply chain issues have all slowed deployment. And international interest that once looked promising has cooled considerably in recent years. Right now, there simply aren't very many of these jets in operational service compared to its rivals, which limits how much real-world combat data exists to evaluate its true performance. It's an aircraft with genuinely elite maneuverability and a dangerous weapons loadout at close range. But limited stealth, limited production, and limited combat testing keep it out of the top 3. Number 3, Chengdu J-20 Mighty Dragon. China at number 3, we have China's Chengdu J-20, known as the Mighty Dragon. This is a large, twin-engine, fifth-generation stealth fighter, and it represents China's most serious challenge yet to American air dominance. Unlike a lightweight interceptor, the J-20 was purpose-built as a long-range platform, designed to penetrate deep into contested airspace and take out high-value support aircraft. Think airborne tankers, early warning aircraft, and command and control planes that a modern air force depends on to function. Its top speed is estimated at Mach 2 or slightly above, and it features internal weapons bays to preserve its stealth signature, along with an advanced active electronically scanned array radar. But what really earns the J-20 its spot on this list isn't a single spec, its scale. China has now deployed several hundred of these aircraft, and that number keeps climbing every year, alongside steady upgrades to its engines and onboard avionics. Western analysts are still divided on exactly how stealthy the J-20 truly is compared to the F-22 or F-35, and its distinctive canard delta wing design does raise some questions about radar cross-section from certain angles, particularly from the side and rear. Even so, with hundreds of units now in service and continuous improvements rolling out, the J-20 is the only aircraft in the world that can realistically be called a peer competitor to American fifth-generation air power in contested skies. One detail that often gets overlooked is engine development. Earlier J-20 units relied on imported or less powerful domestic engines, which limited their ability to supercruise the way American fifth-generation jets can. China has since introduced more powerful indigenous engines specifically built for the J-20, closing that performance gap and giving the aircraft better range, better acceleration, and less dependence on outside suppliers. That kind of steady, incremental improvement is exactly why military analysts keep moving the J-20 up in these rankings year after year, even as debate continues over its true stealth performance. Quick question before we get to the top 2, drop a comment telling us which jet you think should be number 1, and we'll pin the best answer once you see our final pick. Now let's move into the 2 aircraft that genuinely define modern air dominance. Number 2, Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor, USA. Number 2 on our list is the Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor, and if this was a ranking based purely on dogfighting ability, this jet would be sitting at number 1 without any argument. The F-22 was designed with a single mission in mind: total air superiority. It combines an extremely small radar cross-section with 2-dimensional thrust vectoring engines, giving it supernatural agility in close combat. Its top speed reaches Mach 2.25, and it can supercruise, meaning it flies at supersonic speed without ever engaging its afterburners. That's a massive tactical advantage, because it lets the Raptor cover ground faster than almost any other jet in the sky, while burning far less fuel than a conventional afterburning aircraft would. So why isn't it number 1? 2 reasons. First, production ended back in 2011, meaning fewer than 200 combat-coded units currently exist, and it can't be exported to any other country, even close allies, by U.S. law. That means no matter how good the F-22 is, its overall global impact is limited to a single air force. Second, while it's an unmatched dogfighter, it lacks the sensor fusion, networking, and electronic warfare integration that define true next-generation combat. Its avionics, while continually upgraded, were originally designed decades ago around a different mission concept, winning the fight directly in front of it, rather than seeing and shaping the entire battlefield before the fight even begins. That distinction matters more than most people realize. The F-22 wins fights up close, in the merge, where raw agility and thrust vectoring decide the outcome. The jet at number 1 wins the entire war before the fight even starts, by making sure the enemy never gets close enough to fight fairly in the first place. Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II, USA, and that brings us to number 1, the Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II. If you were expecting the fastest or most maneuverable jet to take the top spot, this is exactly the twist we promised you at the start of the video, because the F-35 isn't the fastest fighter on this list. Its top speed is only Mach 1.6, slower than every other aircraft we've covered today. So why does it rank number 1? Because modern air combat isn't primarily won by speed anymore, it's won by information. The F-35's true weapon is its sensor fusion system. It pulls in data from radar, infrared sensors, electronic warfare systems, and even other friendly aircraft, satellites, and ground units, then merges all of that into a single real-time picture for the pilot. Pilots have described flying it like being the quarterback of an entire battle space rather than a single aircraft. The F-35 also comes in 3 distinct variants: the F-35A for conventional runways, the F-35B with short takeoff and vertical landing capability for the Marine Corps and Allied navies, and the F-35C built for aircraft carrier operations. That flexibility alone makes it the most widely adopted 5th-generation fighter on the planet, currently operated by more than 20 countries, from the United States and United Kingdom to Japan, Israel, and beyond. Its combat radius sits at roughly 1,090 kilometers for the F-35A variant, and it carries advanced precision-guided munitions internally to preserve its stealth profile. In real-world operations, F-35s have already been used in live combat and reconnaissance missions in the Middle East, proving their electronic warfare and strike capabilities under actual operational pressure. Not just in simulations. There's also an economic and strategic dimension to the F-35 that pure specs don't capture. Because more than 20 countries fly the same aircraft, Allied air forces can share intelligence, tactics, maintenance infrastructure, and spare parts in a way that no other fighter program on Earth allows. When a Japanese F-35 and an Israeli F-35 and a British F-35 can all plug into the same data network and instantly understand what the others are seeing, that creates a level of coordinated air power that single-nation platforms like the F-22, the J-20, or the Su-57 simply cannot replicate. It's not just an aircraft anymore, it's a shared operating system for an entire coalition's air combat capability. So that's our breakdown of the top 5 fighter jets in the world for 2026. It's worth remembering that rankings like this shift constantly. New engines, new radar upgrades, and new production numbers can reshape this list within just a year or two. 6th-generation programs are already in development in the United States, China, and across Europe. And once those aircraft start entering service later this decade, every jet on today's list, including the F-35, will eventually be pushed further down the rankings. That's exactly why staying informed on this topic actually matters, and not just for military enthusiasts. Air power shapes global politics, trade routes, and alliances in ways that ripple down into everyday life, whether people realize it or not. If you found this breakdown useful, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.